September 2012. This episode is titled Well Rested. CloudFocus Week is sponsored by Arkus, your cloud computing experts. I'm your host, Jason Atwood. Joining me across our one mic, because our other two mics didn't make it back from Dreamforce yet, is Justin. Justin, how are you doing?
This harkens me back to the days of episode 97, 98.
98, when we had
when
one
we
mic.
only had one microphone in one room across one table.
It's all about the one.
Yeah.
So if we sound like not so good stuff, then that's because we have one mic, and you can blame someone.
Not us.
Not us.
But also, if we don't sound so good, it's because, unlike the title of the podcast, Well Rested, while I am well rested, my voice is coming back.
You have your post Dreamforce cold.
My post Dreamforce hangover cold.
You meet 95,000 people, you're gonna get a cold.
You shake more than a few hands.
True.
It happens.
I've not come down with one, but that is knock on
It
wood. Hopefully
always happens to me. Always. Every time.
Speaking of things that happen to you every time I read an agenda. We have the post Dreamforce aftermath blog post written by moi. We have.
You should have done that in your Miss Piggy voice.
Leading us into the Dreamforce reflections. And then we have a couple articles. We have one by ZDNet asking, is Salesforce treading water? And then we have something we ignored for a couple podcasts now we'll get back to, which is kind of interesting. Google Plus for the Enterprise. A story that came out. It's strong enough that we should talk about it still, even though it's a couple weeks old.
Yeah, I mean, it's about a month old, but we're going to talk about it anyway because I think it's worth it.
Because we have to.
We don't have to do anything we don't want to.
What are we ignoring? We're ignoring the new iPhone 5 announcements and stuff. We're ignoring the new iOS 6.
We mentioned them briefly on other podcasts.
Yes.
Podcasts? Well, on other episodes.
You mean
our other podcasts?
Other podcasts? All right, so let's get into it. Yes, this week the blog post du jour is not up. It will be up probably Friday, maybe Thursday, depending on when this goes up. If this goes up today, then whatever. And basically taking a look at Dreamforce 12 Aftermath, which sort of some reflections on what happened at Dreamforce now that we're well rested, now that we're a few days out. Thoughts. I kind of go over a lot of stuff in here. Why don't we just break it into a conversation? You can go to blog.arkusinc.com to read those thoughts as they are and comment on them using Discuss. But what's your big takeaway? What's your big feeling from Dreamforce now that we're sort of a day out?
Aside the fact that it was really, really big.
Yeah, that was
my big takeaway.
It was really, really big.
It was enormous. It was so big. I got back on like midnight Friday, so I guess early Saturday morning, and I was asked, how was it? And I said, oh, it was exhausting. It's always exhausting. It's like, well, what was so exhausting? I'm like, so much walking. And it's like, what do you mean so much walking? You're at a conference. I'm like, no, this conference is not a conference. It's a takeover of a section of a city.
You're like my daughter who goes to her first Yankees game, and I ask her to come home, like, 7-year-old daughter, I'm like, hey, how was the game? She goes, hot. I'm like, really?
So much walking.
I'm like,
my feet hurt. At one point, I had walked from Moscone to the Hilton to the Marriott, back to the Moscone to walk.
No, Monday we walked back and forth to the Salesforce offices like twice.
Oh, yeah.
That was like 2
miles.
We
went back and forth from Moscone to the Salesforce office. But aside from just the bigness and the complaining about walking so much, I thought Salesforce did a really great job in pulling off
this massive effort.
How big it is.
Yeah.
And it was just, it just felt flawless. It was so smooth. I did not get to do all the things that I wanted to do, but who did? I mean, really, if you got to do all the things you wanted to do at Dreamforce, then you didn't plan your Dreamforce right.
Well, then you've cloned yourself.
Yeah, or there's 2 of you or 4 of you, because it's impossible to do everything that you wanted to do at Dreamforce, which is actually what's great about some of these. I didn't go and get to see, Richard Branson. I didn't go get to see Immelt and Colin Powell. Well, those videos are up. I can see them now. I can go look at them already, and I'm happy about that because I wanted to go to those. I just could not.
Right.
Didn't didn't make it into my agenda.
Right.
But how smooth it all went was really impressive.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Give me the best thing of the conference. Maybe you just said it, the smoothness of it, and give me the worst thing of the conference. And then I too will give you the best and worst.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the worst was, I already kind of said the worst. It was just the sheer magnitude of where everything was.
So it was the geographical layout of everything.
And the timing between things. Because I know that they tried to put things in the right places, but I'm gonna say, for people who love permission sets, right? There was a session about permission sets at the Marriott that ended, and then another session about the permission set API need to get from the Marriott to Moscone West within a half hour.
Yeah.
And that's like really hard to do because you're wrapping up the session, you want to go to the next one, and it's like you're trying to plan your day, and it's like, I'm really interested in this feature, which we're obviously interested here at Arkus, and I've got to walk around. So I wish that they could have done a better job of sort of like putting sessions that are, you'd think like that are like others in the same area or zone. And maybe they did and I just didn't realize it, but to me, just having the need to walk, like I said, I went from Moscone to the Hilton, back to the Marriott, all within like a 3-hour span. That's kind of crazy. So while it was really smooth, the thing that I was most disappointed with was the sheer size of it and the non-existent shuttle buses that were supposed to exist. Like, I was supposed to be able to get on a bus and get from one place to another. I saw none of them.
I don't know where they were.
Not one.
They might have been everywhere.
Yeah, nowhere.
Actually, wait, now that I think about it, as I was crossing a street, I saw a bus pass by with a big Dreamforce logo on the side.
Maybe that was it.
And I thought that maybe that was it.
Maybe it was just an advertisement, though.
Yeah, who knows? All right,
I
so
don't
that
know.
was your...
That was like my worst, and if that's the worst thing, you're so big that you're too big, then you did a good job. It's hard to put a point on my favorite thing.
But I'm going to ask you to.
Yeah, I know you are. I always really just love the expo floor. I just love it. Thanks. I love just walking around aisle to aisle. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of energy. And there's a lot of big things happening, and even the smaller vendors have interesting stuff. There's so many interesting things to see and hear and do on the expo floor. And I got to walk around with one of our clients who had never been to Dreamforce before, and I said, "Hey, I want to walk with you around the expo floor for an hour. Let's take an hour and walk around the expo floor." And she was so appreciative because she was like lost. Yeah. And this being Dreamforce 5 for me. The expo floor is like just the cool. It's cool. You walk around, you let them scan your badge. You're like, oh, partner, who cares? You know, they like scan it. They're looking for that customer one.
Their little iPad blows up.
Yeah, their little iPad's like, no, don't want this one. But I just love walking around the expo floor. I get a real kick out of it, even though after doing all that walking, it's like I don't want to walk anymore. But the expo floor makes it a little more fun for me.
Yeah, my favorite part, definitely the favorite part was, I was going to say expo. I was going to say the expo. I spent a lot of time in the expo. It felt more vibrant this year. I don't know, last year it felt like there was just times when there's no one there.
That's how you could tell how many people were there.
Because it was just always bumping.
Always.
Yeah. But having said that, I was just really... My favorite part, I guess, part of it is that they pulled it off. Like, I was so worried that things like Wi-Fi or things that, or like food or lunch or things that when you have 95,000 people that would just be, or even the keynotes, like they would just be, everything would be impossible. And it wasn't. Everything kind of worked well. And I that's such a great, kudos to the people who put it together. I know it's a team of hundreds or whatever, but really great job. But it kind of coincides with my worst. It's just, and as I said this in my blog post, great. The pissing match with every other tech conference is over. You win. You got it. MB, take a bow. You won 95,000. I don't think it makes it better. I don't think bigger is better in this case. I thought bigger was bigger. Bigger was more, but bigger wasn't better. I don't feel like I felt very stretched out. I felt like I had to really pick and choose my sessions because I was flying over, and I don't really think there's that many sessions. I was thinking, like, if they could boil down the good sessions, I feel like they'd be much better than having a lot of okay sessions. So it's like a lot of B sessions versus just a few really good A sessions. But having said that, there's some things I thought were done really great. I thought bringing back, I said this in blog post, bringing back nonprofit into Moscone West was better.
Good job. Don't put an entire vertical into some other place.
Well, they did that with FinServe.
They did that last year too, at the Intercontinental.
But having nonprofit back, I thought was good. I thought the registration process, the scanning thing, was good and bad. I loved it for the registration.
The registration was great,
but the going into sessions, not so great.
No one knew how to operate the iPad. You know what it is? They have them in landscape mode. They're sitting there in landscape mode, and the camera's not on the top.
Right.
So you're screwing people up because the camera just needs to be on the top.
So here's the thing, Salesforce.
Turn it sideways.
No. Here's the thing. You know what's cheaper than an iPad and has a camera on it?
Let me guess.
An iPod Touch.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they're half the price. They're small. They fit in your hand.
They're the thing that Apple uses in their stores.
Yeah, go get those.
Check them out.
And then you know what? You can also throw batteries on them, and they'll last all day long. And anyway, but and then really the cheesy favorite part, my cheesiest, is just seeing people. I just love walking around with 95,000 people. I was still walking the streets and seeing people I hadn't seen in a year or 2 years. They're like, hey. I just saw people all the time, bumped into them, friends, people I've known for years out of Salesforce, old clients. I just love that feeling, being in this foreign city, basically, walking around and just meeting people and saying hi, and then having some real chance to catch up. We had a couple events, we went to some things, and really getting to catch up with clients. And then my last favorite thing was really watching our clients speak. And having them, just their excitement about it. So I said this in the last podcast, but I'll say it again. It was just, I think back and it was so exciting to hear. And I know it is for everybody. And even if you just were part of any implementation, it's just nice to see that people are using it and happy and everything's good. And we get kind of biased because we've been in this business for a long time. So you get kind of biased to the power of Salesforce. So when you implement someone who's brand new, they're still in that kind of wow, log a call, damn yeah, log a call, and they're happy, and you're like, yeah, log a call, true to the core, where's many who, you get it all caught up in the other stuff, but they're still kind of excited by the big shiny lights or whatever. So that was my favorite part. I didn't get to go to any keynotes other than the main keynote. I didn't get to go to the brands.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah. So interesting is usually my answer to what was your favorite part is the keynote,
right?
The main keynote. The Mark Benioff first day morning keynote. It's the product keynote.
It's still wonderful and it's still fun. It is not as it has become less about the truth, or it's become less about the reality and more about the vision. We said this in the other podcast. I love the vision, but I'm looking for more reality. I'm looking for more. I'm a product guy. I want to see. I went and I read over the press releases from the Dreamforce. It's availability 2013, availability, pricing and availability to be determined 2013. And I was like, yeah, I guess I just have to change my mind and just say I don't care. That's fine. I'll read release notes instead. But I feel like you miss a moment there to really wow people and to get the true people, the people who are really invested in the platform, very excited by saying this is out next month.
Well, that's the difference between Salesforce today and Salesforce 2 or 3 years ago. I don't think they would have done that 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think
let me retract 2 to 3. Let me go back 4 or 5.
4 or 5. It was
because before Chatter, it was those were the big things, and it was let's show you what you can do today,
right?
Because there's no upgrades. You just do this today because it's available when you walk out the door,
right. Or this is available or winter 13,
yeah, which will be out in a week
and
or
they
whatever.
Used to try to surprise with that. They used to leave announcements that were in a future release out of the release notes and kind of say, here it is, right? And and you're going to get this in 2 days or in 2 weeks, and it became very exciting.
And it's an auto thing, and you're going to get it. And people, I guess, take that for granted now. It's of course I don't have to upgrade my software.
Right. I guess that's the other thing. The cloud, the cloud evangelism is sort of gone, and now it's the social evangelism.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'll point out was I thought Chatter was really downplayed a lot, which I liked.
Totally downplayed.
Which I really liked. I liked that they didn't just try to make it about, Chatter 12. Like, it was really, they pushed it down a lot. It's much more about social, and social Chatter fixes into the social. But I thought it wasn't like just Chatter everywhere. It was like, oh, okay, it's just part of our products, one of our products. So it kind of leads us to the next article, which is from ZDNet. Really, it's a debate, they're saying.
It is a debate.
And is Salesforce.com treading water? So are they, really what they mean by treading water, meaning are they just sort of not being able to put out any real products? Are they just sort of, not moving forward, treading water in the swimming sense? I quickly scanned over. I must say I didn't have much time to read this article. I get it. I get what they're trying to say. I think I disagree. I think they're being.
What's to disagree with? It's a debate.
Yeah.
One person's on one side and one person's on the other. You either agree with one or you agree with the other.
I disagree. I don't think they're treading water. I think they are moving forward. I don't think they're moving forward in necessarily the place I exactly want them to go as Jason Atwood, but I definitely think they're moving forward in a lot of spaces that I'm going to find exciting in 2 years.
So in the opening statements, it was, two headlines. It was products we can't see or test, and then there's the no sign of slowing down. So you're in the no side of slowing down camp.
No, I love the vision. I think they're both right. That's why this debate's kind of whack. They're both right. There is no sign of slowing down. There is incredible vision. There's incredible products coming. It's not slowing down, but there are no products we can test or see now.
Right.
They're in the future. They're in 2012, 2013, availability and pricing to be seen. But that doesn't mean they're not developing. It just means that some of the things they're doing are big issues or they're still figuring them out. I mean, Salesforce, this is where agile and building things in 3 releases a year hurts you, because you can't plan a year ahead and say, I know what's going to be out. I know when that's going to hit. You have to say, here's when I think it's going to hit, and I'm going to try, but we could not make it. We could, it could fall out of the scrum. It could fall out of the thing. We could not have enough time. We could run into some roadblocks. So I just think I just have to flip my head around and say, they've got vision. They know where they're going. It will be quicker than I think it is. Like, it seems like it's far away, but I'll wake up, like every release. I always say this, Winter 13, I feel like, what? Is it here already? And it is. It's like next week or 2 weeks from now. So it's like, it's coming, right? So we'll walk around in 6 months. We'll be like, oh man, we got this new thing is released and this new things. And I think Salesforce wants to be more in the PR cycle. So they want to be more like Apple in that Apple doesn't release one thing a year. They don't go, here's a one release a year, see you in a year. They're like, we're going to hit you every 2 months. And every 2 months we're going to give you something. Here's iPhone 5. Here's iOS 6. Here's the new iPad. Here's the iPad mini. Here's a new version of OS X. And we're going to hit you like maybe every 3 months. But they keep you in the cycle. So you're always kind of going, great. This is their big event of the year. But I think they're gonna spread stuff out more throughout the year, and they'll make splashes again when they launch Work.com, when they launch Chatter for Partners, when they launch the Social Key, when they launch all that stuff, they'll make another splash.
I'm on your side of the debate as well, although we're in the minority. I'll have you know, 54% believe they're treading water and 46% believe they're not at this very moment. There's a lot of questions in this article. It's on ZDNet. It's a debate. You can probably Google is Salesforce.com treading water and find it and read it yourself. We're not going to read it. Jason just did a pretty good job of giving his opinion on the matter. I happen to agree. At this point, the company is shelling out vision, and Dreamforce is the place where they do that. And now we're going to get a whole nother dose of it in about a month from now at CloudForce here in New York, because we're here in New York. We're basically going to get the same keynote.
Yes.
And then
2 hours,
some
not 3.
mini breakout sessions, and that'll be that. I mean, I didn't even go to like the product keynotes, which I feel like probably would have been the most beneficial thing to go to, because that's where you get the deep dive, less vision, more reality.
Yep.
But I think their vision is, like you said, it's not necessarily precisely what I'd like to see, but it says something that you have one.
Right.
Like, there is vision there, and they see a future in just like they did, 12 or 13 years ago. I don't think they could have said where they were going to be today, but they're looking forward, and they've got products in the pipeline that look interesting and intriguing, and you've got stories to tell around them, which we saw at Dreamforce.
Cool. Well, that about wraps it up. Now we don't have to talk about... By the way, next Dreamforce,
Dreamforce
14, 15, 16.
Let's do it.
Of 2013. So you got 14 months to get ready.
Well, we'll talk about CloudForce when we get there.
Yeah, I feel like CloudForce is like a... So what? There
won't be a lot of people there.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people, but it's not...
It's basically everyone in New York who couldn't go to Dreamforce, plus everyone else who really wants to just see it again. And it's on a Friday, so it's easy to be like, yeah, Friday I'm going to a conference.
Yeah. Next up, again, as a piece of news, is Google Plus for the enterprise. So again, this was almost a month ago. Google announced on their enterprise blog that they are launched Google Plus for the enterprise as a sort of pre-release premium. Freemium, which is like...
Freemium with a P in front of it.
Freemium. For someone who's sick, you just spit all over me 10 times.
Sorry about that.
Which is really releasing a couple things. Google Hangouts for the enterprise and
Google Plus.
And Google Plus with the ability... They've had Google Plus for the enterprise, which you had on your Google app, but now you can sort of just use it internally. So you can have internal posts. I can post something. I just tried it before this just to see. And yeah, you can say just post it within Arkus. And I was like, oh, okay.
They're kind of like out ahead of people with this. They are where, chatter communities and those types of things want to be. They're there. They have the ability to, in one huge, enormous social network, post to just your company, circles that include your customers and people in your company, and just publicly post something.
Right.
I mean, that's there. Start a quick video chat.
Right.
I mean, I didn't see that at Dreamforce, did you? I don't see it in the release notes either. Unless I totally missed it, I didn't see that in the Winter 13.
Where's screen share?
Where is that?
Yeah.
like Google Plus has this stuff now. And you're already doing all your email in there too.
What I'm happy about
very interesting.
What I'm happy about this is because this was my one of my predictions for 2012, which is that video conferencing goes free. Basically, it has no more value anymore. Well, Google Hangouts for Enterprise, basically free. I mean, of course, they'll put a price around it eventually, but they're so close to saying, hey, you want a video conference?
Well, it's not free. It's just part of another package.
It's in essence free because it's something you already pay for. I mean, if you get Google Drive, Gmail, Calendar, and whatever, and that's all $50 a year, it's free. I mean,
it's not free. It's part of that $50.
But it's pennies on the dollar.
That's like saying Many-Who is free.
Yeah, but that's like saying...
But it's not free.
But WebEx is $50 a user per month.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a standalone product.
I think it's basically going free. But anyway, do you think this puts Yammer and... Yammer now owned by Microsoft and Chatter on notice?
Totally. Because it has that thing that that Chatter doesn't have yet, and I don't think Yammer has or may never will now that they're owned by Microsoft. It's that one place, but many places at the same time.
But don't you think that that's sort of... Don't you think it's like one of those things that maybe you don't want to have your peanut butter and jelly together? You want them separate? Because, like, well, you do want your peanut butter and jelly together. But
who doesn't want peanut butter and jelly together?
But, like, I went to it and I was like, I think of Google Plus. Not only is there sort of a bad connotation now with Google Plus, it's a little bit like, oh, well, no one's there. Now it's like, oh, it's Google Plus, so you can be in posting about your friends and your girlfriend, and then you can instantly turn around and post about your the sales numbers at your company. And boy, if you hit the wrong number, you're posting one to the other. Of course, you can always go delete, but for IT, and I worked in IT for a long time, I'd be like, yeah, we're turning that off. We're not even going to make that available. That's what's nice about Chatter, and I think Yammer too, is like it's a closed community. Like, people want it to be closed because I want to know that it's a walled-off community, and I'm more free with my speech inside that closed community. You have a half-open community, it's like, oh, I don't know.
Well, that's where Chatter's going, these communities, these half-open communities.
Yeah.
So be ready for it.
And you'll be able to turn them off.
Be ready for that.
You'll be able to turn them off.
Be ready, IT.
I'm ready. Well, they'll just turn them off. All right, well, let's get to our CloudFocus app picks of the week. I see you have one, which is the best.
I have one. This is my Dreamforce pick because I walked the floor quite a bit. And I decided to just choose, like, it's not the flashiest thing in the world. It's just the thing that, when I went and got a demo of it, impressed me the most with what it does is very simple. And what they say they do well. And I was just impressed with it because I looked at, it's a mass email marketing tool. It's called iContact. Everyone in the world's heard of it. They have a really nice, to me, Salesforce product. From a campaign, you send out an email, and you can get some statistics on the opens and the bounces and the clicks and the this and the that. Really nice, really simple. And I was just looking at all the different mass email tools from, like, the big boys. I was looking at, marketing automation tools like Silverpop.
Yeah.
All the way down to, iContact. And, I went to a couple booths, and they weren't even demoing their product. Like, they were at least demoing their product and showing it.
To demo your product at a booth.
I was looking specifically at mass email tools, and I went to one. I'm not going to name them.
Why not?
Exact Target. You go to me into that one.
Yep.
I walk up to the booth. I'm like, I've used your product. I've integrated your product, but I haven't done it in about a year and a half. I want to see it. I want to know, what it looks like today, and has it changed, and this and that and the other. And they're like, yeah, we're not here to give demos. I was like, well, what's that screen for? Like, you have a monitor. It's black. Like, why do you have that even here? They're like, no, we feel like demos are best if we, like, get your use cases and, like, show you specific things.
Radiant 6.
Yeah, like, things tailored to you and this and that. I was a little turned off by it. But iContact had a great little demo. It took them 3 minutes, just walked me through, showed me some really nice functionality for sending mass emails.
So tell me how the pricing works. I'm looking at the price and I'm kind of like...
Yeah, it's very variable. He couldn't really give me a good sense of it. It's volume-based.
500 subscribers for $14 a month. So subscriber means people I'm sending to?
No, I don't think you're looking at the pricing for the Salesforce edition.
Oh.
It's a separate edition that they have for Salesforce, and it's all about, like, how many emails you send.
Oh, okay. iContact for Salesforce. Pricing not available.
Yeah, you gotta kind of contact. You have to contact iContact for the pricing. It's not too crazy. It's like, if you want to send thousands and thousands of emails, it's like less than a penny to send an email. That kind of thing.
But it's per email. It's not per list or whatever. All right, well, that's good. Mine is I tried to figure out how to wrap this around Dreamforce. So when you're at Dreamforce, what you want to do...
What do you want to do?
Is you want to have the ability to see how your website's doing without your new hits hitting it. I could have sworn I picked this.
You mean the ROI on your websites that you've been putting on your booth? You
get all the people
walking around there.
So I feel like I picked this, but
I feel like you did too.
I searched for it, I couldn't find it.
Okay, I feel like you picked this, or at least told me about it.
Maybe I told you about it, but I haven't picked it. Anyway, I'm picking it again. Then it's called Analytics, and it's $1.99. It's for the iPhone, and what it does is it basically you put in your Google account stuff, and then it reads your Google Analytics and puts them on your phone in a nice little way, and gives you some high level stats. So we're looking at the Arkus website, and
we go.
So you can see, like, it's just a quick way to see, like, I want to check the stats for today and what's going on. And I think you can go to this.
Can we go to last week?
No, it doesn't do like.
It does.
You can do this.
It has a little line chart.
Yeah, you can do some stuff. Look at that. And like you can look at. It's basically like basic.
Very big Chrome user base we have.
Basic information, like you can go 6 months, whatever. But it's not like the full, because analytics at this point, Google Analytics is so here you can hold it. It's so in depth and so much data. This is just like high level. You want to see high level? Great. You flip it on its side, you get to see monthly. You flip it on the thing, you get to see something else. Like, it's just a nice, well presented, well thought out way of showing some analytics from Google Analytics. You can support up to 5 sites. $1.99. If you have if you use Google Analytics, this is worth it. It's $2. It's a really nice app. So check it out.
I'm very surprised.
And it's spelled analytics with a K, not an S. So
I'm very surprised by like the mobile views. Over 10% of the views of our website are from mobile devices. Yeah. That's pretty interesting.
Cool. I mean, it just gives you high-level stats. You know, like how much percentage yesterday versus today, how much came from Twitter, how much came from Google, how much versus last month. I mean, just basic stuff.
Right.
Just what you want. You want basic information. You don't need to. You want to dig in. You go to the full website. And you can run reports 6 ways, sideways, but just sort of check and on your phone quickly. Nice little app. All right, well, that ends the CloudFocus Weekly. Remember to go to blog.arkusinc.com. Follow us at twitter.com/arkusinc. Follow us at twitter.com/justedelstein. Follow us at twitter.com/jasonmatwood. And remember to go to even though Dreamforce is over, there's still the Dreamforce portal. I think it's going to remain open for the rest of the year.
Why wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know. You never know. They changed their mind.
It's been open for 2 years.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to flip back to the old view now that Touch is out, or generally available soon. Yeah.
That thing's going to stay the way it is.
I figured out a workaround, and I now have it linked.
Yeah, I know how to get out of it, too.
It's great. Get me out of this. But we have a group in there. Once our stuff comes back from Dreamforce, we will be doing for the contest listeners. We will be doing the contest thing once it comes back.
I saw the fishbowl. There were some cards in there.
That was fun. Meeting all the fans. By the way, thanks for stopping by. It was really great. And that's it. Until next week, as we always say here, enjoy those cloudy days.